It's Andrea Gribble. So excited to have you with us for this week's podcast. You're going to meet Jason Lewis. He is a two-time winner of the Golden Gribble Awards. That means he is doing amazing things with social media. He is out of Michigan. He's been in his role almost 5 years. He still feels a little bit like a newbie, but he's rocking it in their district of almost 13,000 students. He's going to talk about their approach to social media, how they kind of create a social media hub where people understand what social media channels are associated with their school. He's going to talk about their winning entries, which have to do with a contest that they created and some student takeovers, which is an amazing way to get great engagement, get your students involved, and give people a behind the scenes look. He's also just going to talk about trying new things on social media and kind of building up some confidence and building those relationships with leadership to earn that trust. And so I know that you are going to get so much out of today's interview. So we're going to jump in. But before we get to the interview, I just want to give a special invite. If you're not already a part of our membership group, we would love to have you in there. Why? Well, one reason Mr. Jason Lewis is going to be in doing a skills session to talk step by step how he does his Instagram takeovers with students, exactly how he trains them, what the expectations are, what the output is, right? How to put in parameters to make sure that things do go okay, all right? We do actual training sessions like this every week in that membership group, and we record everything so that you can access it when you need it. We literally have hundreds of trainings available in our membership group, along with great spots to get inspiration, get answers to your questions. The free PD that Social School for EDU puts out with our blog, our newsletter, our podcast are great. But if you want to go deeper, you want to be in that membership group. It is where my team and I spend a lot of time basically feeding in to support you in your role. So we'd love for you to check out that membership group. Now, let's get to this week's K-12 PR tip. All right, today's K-12 PR tip. You know, authentic storytelling is so important for your school, but sometimes you want to jump on some of these trends, some of the things that are popular right now. Recently this fall, it was like, sorry we're late, you know, so and so was throwing a fit, and it was all about their outfit, right? Well, I saw schools take advantage of that and say, sorry, you know, our administrators are late. They were throwing a fit, and it showed all the leadership maybe dressed up. Some of them were dressed up in like the 80s, so I loved that. But somebody just reached out and said, how do you stay on top of trending reel ideas? Well, one is just scrolling through reels or your TikTok feed if you wanted to, and really looking at it a lens with how could I apply this to schools? Okay. Another great way is joining our membership group. We share a lot of reels that are working really well. Not only sharing the reels, but actually how we've created them. But another super easy way is actually going to your Instagram page, going to your profile in the bottom right-hand corner, pulling up your page and going to something called the professional dashboard. When you click on the professional dashboard under tools, there is an inspiration tab. And under that, you will see reels and audio accounts. And some of it says similar to your content. It's going to be school related reels that are right there on your Instagram account. So again, you're on your Instagram page for your school. You go to professional dashboard, and then you go to a tab, a little tool that says inspiration with a little light bulb. You click on that, and it's going to give you some ideas for your school to use. Again, authentic storytelling is the best. Don't get trapped in thinking you're always having to do these trending things. But if you're looking for ways to get inspired, that can happen. Also, just talking with your students, right? That obviously helps. And we're going to be talking a lot about students in today's interview with Mr. Jason Lewis. So let's get to that interview. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Jason Lewis. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and let's have some fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's offer some inspiration. Love it. I've known you for a while. Why don't you share your background and your role as communication specialist at Walled Lake Consolidated in Michigan?
So for me, believe it or not, I'm actually still kind of new-ish to the school PR world. This is probably my 4.5 year. So I've been a part of 5 school years, but or just getting into 5 school years. But I've been here for 4.5 years. So I'm relatively new to that realm of it, but I came from the journalism world. I was a sports anchor and reporter for 15 years before that. So the storytelling and everything really translated well for me. And it's been a lot of fun getting to really do that storytelling and be a part of sharing our amazing stories that we have here in Walled Lake schools. And other than just the communication specialist, I actually am our varsity head lacrosse coach as well. So I get to connect with our kids and stuff like that. And you'd be surprised how much you learn from the kids of what's going on in the schools just by being with them on a daily basis, at least in the spring. Versus, sometimes it's hard when people aren't always telling us what's going on, but getting it straight from the kids has been a fun extra element that I get to do here as well.
Yeah. So did you start right when COVID hit or right before?
So I started right after. So
Okay.
like we had been, I guess it was like the spring of 2021
Okay.
that I came in. So I interviewed with a mask, and when I started, the masks were gone. So I
Okay.
came in like right after the craziness of that, but we still had stuff that we were doing. Like we had a COVID dashboard and stuff like that that we had to maintain. So I got like the end of COVID, but I came in after the fact.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about Walled Lake Consolidated. So the size of the school, maybe your department and how all that works.
So our district is roughly about just under like 13,000 kids.
Okay.
So we have 20 schools. We have 3 high schools, 3 middle schools, 12 elementary schools, and then we have an early childhood center. So the district is very big. It's very, very diverse. We have people from all different kind of cultures and from everywhere that you could possibly imagine, which is really cool because you get to learn a lot about different ethnicities and different cultures and where people are from and whatnot. So we have a very big population for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And what's your department look like for your communications?
Sorry, yeah. So my department, it's 3 people. We have
Okay.
our director, which more focuses on, he obviously does everything, but he more focuses on like the crisis communication element. We have a marketing specialist that focuses more on the marketing, and then me, I'm our communication specialist. And for me, I'm social media, website, and then with my journalism background, I do all the pictures and video work and do a lot of the storytelling, writing press releases, and writing like feature stories and stuff that we put out on social media as well as on our district website.
Okay. And so how do you manage social media from a district perspective? And then do schools have their own pages? Just tell me how that's all set up.
Well, I'm sure what you've kind of experienced with doing a lot of this with social media with schools. We just have like our district stuff that I manage, and that's our kind of focus. But when it comes down to it, when you have 20 buildings and all the organizations with the high schools and sports, like it's kind of like the wild, wild west out there a little bit. So there are other things. So we try to train some people to make sure they understand like what you should put on there, what you shouldn't. But one thing that I did when I got here was I created a social media hub, is what we call it, and to try to get people away from accounts that say the school's name but aren't actually affiliated with us. So we have this social media hub where I make people register. Then I know exactly who's in charge of the account, what the contact information is, and stuff like that. And then we actually have a social media directory on our hub so people could go to find out what accounts are actually affiliated with our school district so that we don't run them, but we also have the ability to, if something's on there that's inappropriate or something that we're like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this, or if they have any questions, like I'm a resource for them, but then also like we kind of have our hands in it a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that is nice. I usually call it like a social media directory almost. So is
Mhm.
that right on your website that anybody can
Mhm.
go see?
Yep, so it's right on our website, and if you go onto our district website, like you scroll down a little bit, there's like this panel area that
Yep.
has like buttons. We usually put like enrollment information up there. We put our back to school hub and stuff there, and the first thing that's always there all the time is our social media hub. So it's right on our homepage. It's easy for people to find. It has an embedded Instagram feed on there, so you see the smiling faces of all of our students and stuff like that. And it connects all of our district accounts, and then it has it like separated by elementary, middle, and high school. And on there you could click, and then you find your school, and then you can find the accounts associated with your school.
Okay. So I will make sure to link that in the show notes too, so that
Okay.
everybody can kind of see what that is, because that's
Absolutely.
a great strategy. So for the district, what channels do you run for social media?
So we do Facebook, Instagram. We are still on X. I know a lot of people have gotten away from it. We don't do as much on there as we have in the past, but we still do. We also have LinkedIn and we do YouTube as well.
Okay. All right. That's powerful. Now, we were just kind of talking before we got started about, the importance of the role and the work that you do. And you just had something pretty cool happen with a parent that came up and said something to you. Can you tell me that story?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the first day of school, I was just running around. The first day of school, you're running around like crazy taking pictures, and I was getting these kids coming off of a bus. And this mom came up to me who was just dropping off her kid, and she said, she's a commercial photographer and everything like that. And she's like, she didn't know who I was, didn't know I had anything to do with it, just saw me out there taking pictures. And comes up to me and she goes, "You guys just do an incredible job on social media. Like your pictures, everything look great." And that's coming from me who does like this for a living. And I just want to let you know, like we're from one of the towns that are just outside of our district, and we noticed what you guys are doing, and it really showed how amazing your district is. And we actually school of choice to your district because of the things that we saw on social media, seeing the programs you have, seeing the things the kids are doing. It really inspired them to move over to our district because they wanted to be a part of something special. And they said, we don't. There's not many school districts that are doing the things that you do, which is awesome, and it's just really cool to see. And it's nice, especially in Michigan. Schools of choice is a huge thing, and our district lays right next to a bunch of private schools. So we lose a lot of kids to those Catholic schools, to be honest. But it's nice to hear that people are also seeking us out to be a part of us because of the things that we're doing here. We don't want to lose kids to Catholic schools, but that's the reality of public schools in general. We're not losing a crazy amount, but knowing that people are seeking us out and coming to us because of what we're doing is really powerful, and it makes me feel good knowing that people are paying attention and noticing what we're doing here on social media.
Yeah, and you know what I think is important to note, those other schools that they may have lived in the boundaries of may offer some of the same things that you are offering, but they don't see
Right.
that. They don't
Hmm.
know about that. It's all about communication. So we really do, and even if you are in a state you're listening and you don't have school of choice in regards to public schools being able to pick wherever you'd like to send your child to school as long as they have room for you.
Hmm.
There's a lot of states like that, but some that aren't. We're all competing because of, like you said, there are private school options, there's homeschool options, there's virtual school options. Like we are all competing and it matters. I mean, people are spending time on social media scrolling, and whether we like it or not, and sometimes I don't like it, but they're spending a lot of time there. And if they continually see the great things that are happening in your district, all of a sudden the opinions start to change, and it's just like, hey, maybe this could be an option for my child, or so that's a pretty powerful story. And how cool for you to be able to hear it
Right.
firsthand.
Yeah, that was cool. Like just because she didn't know who I was and just said it to me, like I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Like I was like, "You're actually talking to the right person. I'm the one that does that. Thank you." And I mean, I think to add to what you said too, it's like not just the states that don't have school choice, but like people are looking at that stuff when they're looking to where to live. A lot of people
Yes.
pick their residence because of the school district, knowing they're going to raise kids. So even if you're not a school of choice state, like what you put out there matters because that might get somebody to seek a home in your area because they know that they want their kids to go to a place that offers as many things. And if you're highlighting those things, the possibilities are endless, and you could get those kids to move to your district.
Yeah, very much so. Well, I'm excited to finally have you on because Jason, you're kind of a big deal.
I
You've
appreciate that. I
actually,
appreciate that.
yeah, you've actually been a two-time winner of our Golden Gribble Awards. We do those every year, kind of the best of social media for schools, and you've won not once but twice. So tell me about those. Tell me about the two awards that you've been given.
Well, believe it or not, you see him. They see him right over here,
Yeah.
over my head, right there. Yeah. So I have one doing. Obviously, we're not in this for the awards and recognition, but it's really nice to be recognized. And and especially by you with all the amazing things that you do with social media. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, I got them the last 2 years. The first year was in 2024 was for Instagram Student Takeover. We had one of our students, the one that we submitted was one for one of our high school's homecomings. I could take some credit for that, but I can't take much because when it came to the content on that day, that was all this amazing student named Bella. She's an incredible student, and she really gave an awesome perspective what it's like in our schools for homecoming. And so I give her all like I'd say most of the credit. We set her up for success, but like she deserves the real love there. And we talked about this earlier too, but next month in November, if you're in the membership group, I'm actually going to be doing a little session on Instagram Takeover, so you could learn the secret sauce in what made it successful for us, and hopefully you could take it over to your districts as well. And then this past year, we got it for our best contest, which is one thing that we do over the summer. It was really important to me when I got here to keep families engaged throughout the summer, and finding ways to connect to them. So we did a summer scavenger hunt, and I wanted to give an activity for people to do that maybe can't afford to go on these crazy vacations that people do, or fun activities, can't get out of state, can't afford camp and stuff like that. Um, so what we did was every Tuesday morning we had at like 11:15. So I tried to do it like early lunchtime. So like if parents got a lunch break and they wanted to take their kid, I'd post up at one of our schools, post like a little teaser of something about our building, something that the school had, and I would hang out there and have an awesome like prize pack. We did like a soft cooler, sunglasses, water bottle, beach bag, frisbee, some cool stuff like that, so that give those kids and give those families an opportunity to do a fun activity together. And it was something that got people talking about us. So we would get like within the first 30 minutes, like 300 people would view our story just purposely to see, oh, where they're going to be this week. And they would come out. And we did it for 5 weeks this summer. We do it mostly in July because most people are away at the beginning of June. And then the beginning of August obviously shifts to back to school stuff. But it was a lot of fun, and a lot of people would come week after week, believe it or not. Like I had this one kid this summer um, that showed up to the first one like second or third, and then that person came every single week, and we had a few others that did that, and then they won the last week, which was awesome. So what I would do too is I'd have like some extra pair of wildlife sunglasses in my bag. So even if you didn't win and you didn't get the big prize, if you showed up, we gave you something, right? You got to have fun, you got to be a part of it, and that was a cool way to connect with our community. The community loved it, and we've gotten great feedback from that. And what we would do is we'd tease it on all of our social media, say we were posting it on our Instagram story. So now we get people coming over to our Instagram. We got some more followers and stuff based on that. And then at the end, we'd post a real like recapping that day's that day's scavenger hunt, post the picture of the kid all over the place. And then we would, in our back to school newsletter, the Scummer Scavenger Hunt was one of the top things up there to be like, hey, like look what we did this summer and whatnot. But it was just, a fun activity for families to do in the summertime. And it's important to engage them when all the other districts are going quiet for the summer. This is a fun way to engage our families and still have our name out there.
Yeah. And what I really love, I mean, I love both things that you won for. I mean, including students, which is a big focus in our membership group. We're actually later today we're talking about how to train those folks, and then your session's coming up in November, which will be great. So there's engagement there and kind of that behind the scenes. But what you really did with that contest is you took something social media, but
Hmm.
then you created an in-person, like engaging opportunity to connect with these students, with these families.
Hmm.
And that is the goal with social media, is to really get these folks involved and get them connected, whether it be in person or maybe sometimes it's, engaging in comments and things
Hmm.
like that. But I think that's really cool. And so the fact that you ran it, for a 5 week session, maybe this will inspire you guys to do something similar next summer. But
Hmm.
I'll link both articles that have all the winners of both years that you won. And then there's a little write up with some links to your posts there. So you guys can take a look at those. And remember, you guys, it's free to enter that contest. So
Hmm.
you're not having to pay. It's free to enter. And so I really, really want you all to consider entering for 2026. It usually comes out in early spring. And then we announce them on School Communicator Day, which is, I think, the maybe second Friday of May. So we'll find out if Jason pulls a three-peat,
Hey,
okay?
we got our fingers crossed. I mean, I should add too, like the thing that's nice about it, and when you guys see the link to the win the last 2 years, I think it's a great place to get inspiration too. Like if
Mhm.
you're kind of figuring out like, oh, what do I want to, what else can I do? What can I add? Like even just going through there and seeing what other people are doing, right? It's good. You could find some things that you could try that maybe you haven't, or it's a good inspiration to like, refresh the brains that like, oh, like this is actually pretty easy. Like this is an easy fun thing that I could add to my arsenal to put out there and include with our schools.
Yeah, I love it. I'm sure if you've listened to the podcast, you've heard my term admire and acquire. I got
Hmm.
that from Barbara Hunter, who's the executive director of NSPRA. But I believe in it. We can all learn. We know it works for one school. How can we kind of change it up a little bit to make it work for our school? And talk about trying new things, Jason. I think you've really leaned into that of being
Hmm.
able to, like you said, you're still relatively new into
Right.
this whole world. So what gave you some of the confidence to try new things?
I think for me, it really is my TV background, to be honest, because when, you know, being in TV during COVID and being I was a sports director, so I led our department and I got all my other sports people taken away from me because what was happening during COVID with sports? There was no
Nothing.
sports. So like during COVID, I still had to be on air at 5, 6, and 11 Monday through Friday. So like what am I going to put in a 3-minute sportscast when there's no sports going on, right? You have to get creative. You have to think of those fun and different ideas. And I think that my TV realm really helped me find those creative elements and bring them over here. And it's one of those things like you start small, right? You start small, you start with one little thing and you build trust. And the more that you bring that works and the more that you test things out, like I could tell you, like I've definitely gone to my boss. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? And he's like, yeah. But I mean, mostly he's usually very encouraging and all for it, right? But there's little things like it doesn't hurt to pitch the idea. Worst case scenario, you're like, okay, well, let's see how maybe we can adapt. And that's usually what I get. Like maybe it's if it's something that doesn't seem to fit, it's like, hey, how can we adapt that to do something similar, but make it more what would, fit us, right? So it's just thinking of it, like pitching it, seeing what happens. I mean, starting small and like I'm in a weird situation in the respect of like, so I've been here for like 4.5 years, right? I've had three supers in that 4.5 years.
Oh, wow.
So it's one of those things like each super is different with how they want to get into that kind of stuff. So it's, that's why I say like the start small, build trust will always be something that I follow, right? So like I had to start small with all three of them and build that trust with all three of them. And once they see the things that you're doing is getting engagement, people are enjoying it and having fun with it, they're more likely to be like, okay, the I guess I don't want to say it's a rope, like trying to bring you in, but it loosens a little bit each time, right? Like the more creative you get and the more things you do. So start with the little things. As you continue to go, you could open up that rope a little bit and push those boundaries a little bit. I mean, you're not trying to push the boundaries too much because in the end of the world, right? We are a school district. We need to stay good within schools, but it's, finding some of those viral videos that go out and seeing how we could twist them to be like a school version or doing little things like that, getting students involved. Like I could tell you the first Instagram takeovers we did, there was no chance that we were going to be able to do students, right? Because we started small and we started with some staff and like opened that door a little bit. When I pitched the idea of students, it was one of those things where like, oh, this is scary. You need to show me exactly what you're going to do to make sure it goes well. But then when I showed them all the homework that I put into it to answer all those questions ahead of time before I came to them with the idea, they're like, okay, well, you've clearly thought this out and you've clearly put a lot of work into this to make it successful. Let's try it and see what happens. And I think making sure you do your homework and making sure you have all those questions answered before they're asked, I think helps with that. Um, but there's sometimes that you do the creative things and they fall flat, right? Like I could think of one for me where um, I was super excited this for like 2 years. It caught up to me, so I didn't get to do it the year prior, but I did it last year for like Michigan Day, right? It's a state day. Like that's an easy, fun day. I went to our third graders because those are our third graders. That's the year that they learn about Michigan history. I brought them in. I did like a reel of like them all telling facts about Michigan, and I got like so I put a lot of work into that, right? I thought it was fun, like showing what our kids are learning, And then like it barely got any engagement. And I'm just like, oh man. So there are things that like, they're gonna fall flat, but just stay positive, keep your head up, and any idea that you think of could be a good idea. It's just twisting it to make it like, hey, how can we make this school safe and school friendly and
Yeah.
push those boundaries to do stuff that's fun.
Yeah.
And once you start doing a few, the people above you are more likely to let you do more because you've shown that like, hey, I could do this and I could do this the right way.
Right. Well, and I think you bring up a great point of, sometimes you think something's going to do really well and it doesn't. And then
Right.
sometimes you do something that just takes a quick minute and it all of a sudden just blows up. I'm
Blows
sure
up.
there's
Right.
you take really great pictures. I want to make sure you guys know that all
I
of the
appreciate that.
social media channels are linked in the show notes, so you're going to be able to take a look at the school district as a whole and the great stories they're telling. But have you ever shared like maybe a not so great picture that you almost didn't want to post, and then all of a sudden it did really well?
I can't say that that's happened.
Okay,
To be honest, I mean, there have been some that like, you know, we're professionals. We do this all the time, right? I've gotten some pictures that like I'm like, oh, these are not really good when they're submitted, but I try to put them out there because people are putting the effort to send them. And some of those have gone bigger, and they're not like the most polished things in the world, but like that's not what it's about,
right.
right? It's about the things that are going on. And like, yeah, it might not be the most polished photo or something in the world, but like if it's what's going on, it is a good thing. Don't be afraid to put it out there because those are the things that people want to see. They want to know what's going on behind closed doors. Because at the end of the day, right? Our schools are so safe and secure, right? That like we're a little bubble and nobody could get into it. We're that, I guess, looking glass to see what's going on in the buildings and see those amazing things that an everyday person can't. Right? Like you have kids, if you weren't in school and you
Yeah,
didn't work in the district obviously that your kids go to, like you would know from what they tell you what's going on, but you wouldn't have that lens to actually see what's going on. So it's giving people that lens to see what amazing things their kids are doing on a daily basis.
yeah, absolutely. So you talked a little bit about your getting your students involved and kind of convincing three different superintendents to kind of help do that. But how has getting your students involved, how has it helped your engagement and your overall perception in the community?
I think the biggest thing is that what do people want to see? They want to see what the kids are doing. They want to hear from the kids, right? That's what school's about. It's about them learning and growing. And it gives them the opportunities to do things that they could put on their resumes, right? Like I think, what was it? We had our um our PTSA gives out scholarships every year and they do one from each high school. And one of the girls that won it last year got up and talked about the fact that, you know, when she won, one of the big things that she honed in was like us doing an Instagram takeover because it gave her the confidence and it gave her the skills and things that she could put on her college resume, things that she realized giving her those leadership opportunities. And those are the things like, what do we want to teach in school, right? We want to give those kids those opportunities to be successful, learn how to be leaders, learn those kind of elements that like a little thing like that allows them to do that and empowers those students. So like yeah, you have to have the support from above to do it. But that's why I say with us, with the main way we've gotten students involved are the Instagram takeovers. We haven't done too much more than that at this point. We do have like one of our high schools has Walled Lake TV and they do like the announcements on there and they also do stuff out in the community. And I try when we use that high school to work with those students because we know that they're good students. But the other high schools don't have that program, so it can't be like a full all in on them because it wouldn't, spread the love across all of our buildings. Um, but with those Instagram takeovers, like, we really put the tools in place to make sure that everything is safe and do it done the right way, where like we set them up for success ahead of time. Like what you see in the Instagram takeover is like 2% of all the things that we do behind the scenes to make sure that they're set up for success and to make sure that they don't go awry. And that's the piece like you'll learn about that next month if you're in the membership group. But those are the things that like getting students involved, as long as you have your safeties and things in check to make sure that you're putting them in a successful position and there's things to prevent the things from going awry, you can't go wrong, right? And that's what people want to see. They want to see what the kids are doing. They
Yeah.
want to they want to hear from the kids because those are the people that we wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Exactly. That's what we're all here for. So just as we kind of wrap up, you got to attend our first annual social media retreat in June of 2025. We have registration open. I'm hoping by the time this airs that there's still spots open. There's only 125 spots open. But what was that experience like for you going to that retreat in June?
Honestly, it was an amazing experience. You know, like the things that you set out to do, I think you accomplished and then some. Like we wanted to connect with other professionals. We got great connection, right? With it being so intimate and small, you really got to know a lot of people, right? I feel like I grew as a professional because I got to connect, like with that connecting piece, learned a lot about other people and me being more relatively new in the school PR field. I learned a lot from other professionals that have been in this field for such a long time that gave me a lot of takeaways. And then, you know, at the same time too, I took a bunch back with me. And I think that, you know, when you go to conferences and stuff like that, there's so much going on because it's so big that you don't typically get the takeaways that I feel like I was able to get, you know, the way you set it up where we had a session and then we had some work time right after, right? You could put the things you learned into play right away. And I think that that was nice, whether it be actually physically actionable items right away or taking notes and being like, okay, this is what I just learned. Here are the elements that I could take from this and like taking notes so that when I get back, I have now detailed notes of like, this is my step by step from what I just learned of like how I could put that into play here. Um, and I mean, honestly, that's incredible. Like it was 3 days of awesome learning, connecting, and like this the town of Stillwater is really cool too. Like
Yeah,
that's an extra element that like it's a small town outside of a big town. Like you don't feel like you're in as small of a town, but there's a lot to do there. It's a beautiful area and it's really a nice place to really just sit back, you know, and learn and grow.
yeah. And next year's focus is AI and students as storytellers. So who knows? You may be leading another roundtable session
I'm
with
all
your
for it.
Instagram story takeovers. You got really great feedback on that. So
That's great to
awesome.
hear.
So as we officially wrap up, what would you say is your best social media tip?
So I got two if that's okay.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is like keep it simple. Like be good at one thing. Like, you know, as you heard, like we have a ton of social media platforms that we're on, but like if you only have time to be great at one, be great at that one. Don't spread yourself thin so that, you know, you can't do everything, right? Because then at the end of the world, at the end of the day, right? You're not putting out good content in that respect. Like be good at the one thing that you're good at and do that. You know, people want that authentic content. Keep authentic content. Keep it simple. Like real emotion over the polished, the super polished stuff. Like I told you, the fail with the Michigan Day video, like it was great. It was really cute. We got some good stuff, but it kind of fell flat compared to something else. Like you said, you know, you go into a classroom, you get a picture or you get a quick video, those things could blow up. Like one of our principals was like conducting the orchestra while I was interviewing a teacher outside. I came in, saw that, took a video of it, put on social media, and it got like over 400,000 views. Like that was the most basic, simple thing, but that's the thing that people want. They want that real emotion. They want that horizontal video now. That, you know, when we a few years ago, you're like, everything needs to be vertical. Don't shoot horizontal. Now I mean, don't shoot horizontal. Everybody wants vertical. Like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, they
Now we
everybody
want
wants
vertical.
vertical now, right? So
Right.
up and down kind of, yep.
So it's like those little things like that blew up, which was a silly little thing that you never thought would have, where like the cute little video where like the kids are telling you about our state didn't. It's just like it's funny how that kind of works where being simple makes a difference.
Yep.
The other one, and I think this is the biggest thing that I think has been successful for me is maximizing your shoots. Like when you go to a shoot, like you don't have to use everything then in that moment when you get back. Like I every time I go to shoot, every time I have kids and I do interviews with kids, I ask them what I we do our interview about whatever I'm there for, and then I say, all right, this has nothing, this doesn't have to do anything with what we're talking about right now. But I always ask them at the end, I say, what do you feel like makes our district so special? And getting those testimonial style answers has been great because for us, like Schools of Choice, we do a Schools of Choice video campaign and we put those student voices in there. We let the students tell you why our district is special. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're here for the students. We want the students to be there to succeed. And hearing them say, the staff is there for me, and I feel like I have endless opportunities here. I feel included. I get to learn about different people and different cultures with how diverse it is. When you hear the students say that, that's 10 times more powerful than anything you could put out there on a graphic, on a flyer, on a video without kids' voices and stuff like that. So like that's one of those things. Like every single time I have kids, I ask them that question, and I just stash it away, and I know later on I'm going to come back and use it. And we use it for our schools of choice campaign. And then every year we do a video that we put out on graduation time, and it's kids looking back at what they most enjoyed. And like those are the interviews that I'm getting all those sound bites throughout the whole year. And then when it comes to the end, I'm just like putting it all together, editing it, so then it's all good for the end. But like maximizing those opportunities. I can think of another one where like I went to a school to just get classroom photos one day, and the principal was out there. They had salsa day, and they have like a little community garden in the back, and he was picking vegetables with them, and they made salsa right there, and they ate salsa. So like I went for classroom photos, and I got that. That's what I put out there that day. And then now I have these classroom photos and good engaging stuff of what kids are doing in the school that I could use on another time. So it's remembering like maximize your opportunities there. Like obviously you're going for events, but anytime that you could get multiple things in one shoot or one day being out there, that helps you down the road. And I'll always go back to people want to hear from the students, and they
Yeah.
want to have those student voices. Like that's the most important thing, and getting those opportunities to put the students in the forefront in that limelight as much as possible is going to set you up for the most success, I feel.
Yeah. That's a really good tip. I mean, anytime you're interviewing a student, just adding it on to the end. I think you get the most authentic answers too when you're like, okay, this
Mhm.
isn't part of this, but
Right.
what makes our school so special?
Hmm.
And then they can really kind of talk off the cuff and then you can save that for later. So
Right. And
really
like,
great advice.
and with that too, like usually whatever the first, like when you get put on the spot, right? The first thing that, and like some kids are like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Because usually that's what's going to stick out in your head, and that's what you think of. So it's like that piece of like the first thing that comes to mind when they don't expect it, you're going to get, like you said, great authentic content and what it truly means to them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you're gonna have a whole bunch of new friends now, Jason, because
I
everybody
love it.
wants to hang out with you. So, what would be the best way if somebody wanted to get connected with you? What's the best way?
Well, you put our socials up there. You can
Yep.
see over this shoulder. We got our handle over here. You could also email me. My email is just jasonlewis at wlcsd.org. Feel free to reach out. I'm here to be a resource. Anything that you need. If you want to just talk about something that you've tried that hasn't worked or something, whatever it is, I'm here. I'm here to help. We're all in this together. We're a community, and it's important to be able to bounce ideas and use each other as resources for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have his email also in the show notes along, like you said, with all the social channels so you can check out some of the cool stories that they are sharing. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, Jason. We're going to be back next week with another fabulous guest. And until then, everybody keep telling those stories. Bye bye.
Bye.